G'day folks. In this video I'm going to show you how to solve this super DiPyramid. Now being a super DiPyramid, it means that pieces have orientation. So these center pieces here, and if you're wondering, this is a 4x4 shape mod. So that's the centers of the 4x4 and it's turning like that. And it's called a DiPyramid. I guess if you hold it like that, it's similar looking to the DiPyramid that is sold. Being a super one, it's a 4-layer and the pieces of orientation. So it's essentially a 4x4 super cube. Now, I'm really thoroughly recommending this and really thoroughly not recommending it. And as usual, yes, I'll explain that. The first thing is the turning of this is really quite bad. And you might, if I look at that, you can kind of hear straight away and see that it's a little bit catchy. The outer layers do tend to be a little bit better, but what I've found, I actually had one of these earlier and it exploded and I just went stuff it and then decided to buy it again because it's pretty cheap. That's the good thing about it. It's not a high price puzzle and it is a very interesting 4x4 shape mod. So if you're wondering should you get it if you haven't got it, I would actually recommend getting it. It is an interesting solve. My only regret is that they could have put a little bit more time into making it better turning. That's the only downside of this thing. And so you do have to be careful to have things properly aligned. If you're thinking about corner cutting, forget it. The thing probably will fly apart. So even something like that, you'll find potentially will cause problems. So you do have to have it aligned. And for that reason, this video is going to be longer than I would like. But I'm going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to do every situation that you'll encounter and show you my method in solving it. So let me first go ahead and start scrambling it. Okay, we've got a fully scrambled cube now, and this is my method, so it may be slightly different to some other methods. I wouldn't have a clue what other methods are out there, but the first thing that I'm going to do is, as a normal 4x4, to solve the centers. But the centers require a little bit more thought than that. So each set of centers has two of these pieces with two colors on the sticker, and two of these pieces with just normal stickers. I should talk about the edges and corners as well. These are edges and so are these. So there's different kinds of edges, and then for the corners there's two of these things, and then the rest of the corners are things like that little triangle there. You can see another one, that green one there, the little orange one there. So that's the piece types. So for the centers, I'm going to start off doing the white centers first, and we're trying to make a row like that and then another row so that the two coloured piece is down here diagonally opposite. That's important. The centres can't be just these pieces anywhere. So I've got that up there. Let's find the other two first of all. And the thing about it is if I bring that together, that may be right and it may not be right. Let's have a look. You can see that if I just turn that up, that's no good because this piece needs to be down here. So what I've got to do is think, well, if I've got to have a piece that's where this is on the bottom, let's talk about that. I've got to turn that like that and then have my other white piece next to it so that when I turn it up, that's correctly on the bottom. So that's the first thing. That's a done white center. Not considering whether that should be here or here or here at the moment. That's just ready to go. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just work my way around this here, and I'm just going to maybe start with the red. That's already done there, so I'll take that. And what I want to try and do is get the other two pieces, the red pieces, together on different faces. Oh, that's stupid. Not together on different faces, on different faces, so that I can bring them together correctly. Now you can see here just about the turnability. I've just gone to start turning it back like that. It's not quite aligned there. Got to get it properly aligned. Alright, now I'm thinking to myself, what do we got here? This one is on the bottom, so I need the two colour red piece to be on the top with the other piece below it. So to make that happen, you can see that if I turn that down and then rotate that, I'll have what I want. So then I can move that into position and my red centre is done. Now at this point, let's have a look and just choose one of these corners. We've got white, red, green. So if white's on top and that's red, then green needs to go here. So what I could do, I've got some blues done. I know that blue's got to go over the other side, so I might go and put that onto that face, and you can hear a little bit of the clunkiness of it. So I've got those two blues there. Let's get this blue out of the way onto a different face. And now find the other blue which is on this face. Alright, again, we need the two colour blue center to be at the top. How are we going to do that? Well, here it is at the top. If I can grab that piece, turn it up to there, and then rotate this face 90 degrees anti-clockwise, then I've got it. Now I'm just turning it back to keep the reds in position. So that being the case, I can now go and push out this blue row, turn the face and align, and then bring, still not properly aligned, bring back, and you can see that's correctly made that. So we've got white, red, this one will be green, so let's go and put a green onto that face to start with. Let's get the other green off. Okay, now this time I'm running out of faces to play with. So once I make the green, I'll only have pink and yellow to go, but I've got this green here, and it needs to be, this two colour piece needs to be in this position, turning up to there, which means I need to have this piece going to here. So I can use this yellow face, position that piece correctly, turn it down, turn it off that way so I can return, because I want to keep my other faces intact. And now I've got this face which can turn like that and turn into there. But of course, because I've made other faces, I'll actually need to push it out. Push that green one out, turn the face and push it back, and that green is done as well. So if we take stock, we've got white, red, green, got the blue over here. We just need to get the pink here as a next step. So let's perhaps start with putting this one down here. So I put that, and this is just part of it. I can just feel it not wanting to go. That's better. Put that pink there. Now, that being there, I've got to have this on the top and this on the bottom. Now you can see that if I now turn this up to here and then turn that face and turn it back, I've got exactly what I needed. So I've got the pink face correctly done as well. Now ordinarily at this time I would then go and somehow do the yellow face. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave this yellow right until the end of the entire solve. There's a very good reason for that. There's a couple of times when it may end up being broken up anyway, and so there's no point doing it until the end. So as far as I'm concerned now, that completes the centers. The next step is going to be to reduce the edges, and reducing the edges happens just as it will on a normal 4x4, so I may well skip through a lot of this phase. Let me give you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. One type of piece or edge piece is this maroon piece here, and I'm looking for the joining maroon piece that goes there. So it's not going to be this one, even though that's the correct colour, because it's not positioned correctly to turn onto it. Let's find another maroon piece. There's one, and we can see this type of edge, when I bring those together, they'll match up really nicely. So that's the correct edge. So once I've got a match, I've moved my centres like I would on a 4x4, take it up to a different face, replace it with something that's not done, and turn it down. And then when I return the centres, it breaks apart these, but that doesn't matter because I haven't done them yet. So the centres go back, and there's my newly reduced edge. So one type of edge is like that. There's another type of edge, which is this sort of thing here, which is you've got three colours on the edge, and you'll notice the difference between this sort of piece and that sort of piece we were just using. This one, it doesn't actually come down to a point, the middle colour. This one, it does come to a point, so it's kind of been twisted a bit, and we've got those three. So we're looking for another white, light blue piece. So I'll just cast my eye around here until, oh, there it is. So that's the piece that I want there. I want to line it up so that it's going to be like that, ready to turn. And of course I can turn outer faces as much as I want, because that's not going to affect my centers. So lined it up next to each other, bring it together, and you can see that that makes a nice reduced edge. So again, I want to turn it up to a different face, replace it with something that's not done, and turn that down. And then of course I return my centers, and I've got that one done and that one done. Now that's pretty simple for reducing edges, so I'm going to continue doing that and cut back in at the last 2 or 3. Now we're at the point where we've got 1, 2 to go. Now you either get 3 to go or 2 to go. Now it just so happens that I'm down to the last 2. If you're down to the last 3, then you just need to organize your third piece so that when it comes back and replaces the broken piece, it actually creates the last third pair and reduces it. If you don't do that, or if you're just not thinking about it, which is like what I wasn't with the 4 to go, you'll get this, and you'll get 2 pieces left to go, and this is just as simple to deal with. So what we want to do with the last 2 pieces, if you do happen to get down to that, is you line them up so that the pieces that belong together are on the same line. And then you want to turn one of them to push out the other. And what we're going to do is take out this pair to here and then return it reversed, so that the orange will be at the top and this grey piece will be at the bottom. The way we do that is take it out using an edge piece series, like so, and then turn its position up, put it onto that position, and then turn that down. You can see the orange is now at the top. When we go and turn the centers back, we'll see that that one has matched up and that one has matched up. So that's the last of the edges. They're all reduced now. They're all behaving as single edges, and we can now go and place these edges as for a 4x4. But as usual, because it's a super cube, we've got to be a little bit more careful than that. So I'm going to start with this white blue, and I'm going to move it to, firstly, move it to where it needs to go, which is underneath the blue face. Now, the first thing is you'll notice that it doesn't match up with this, so I need a little grey piece to be over here. So I'll turn that off, and turn the blue face down, and put that there so that the grey pieces in there do actually match up. The next thing is, when I turn it up, will it be right? Well, I'll turn that like that, and you can see that not only has that grey piece matched, but the blue piece here has matched with that little blue triangle in there. So you'll know it's wrong if, for example, you had it like that, you had the white face like that. When you turned it up, you would see that something was wrong there. So that's the next thing to check. So having the white face correct now means that all I need to do is concentrate on getting the join here correct with this edge. So let's go and find some more white edges. Here's a white red edge, which belongs here. There's a white piece there and a red piece there. So what I'll do first is turn it onto that face using an edge piece series. So really what I'm doing is keeping this one intact. Now, before I turn it back up, I'll have a look and I'll notice that it's not really properly joined. It needs to have the blue piece down here. So I'll just turn that off, the bottom face, turn the red face, turn it back on, and now it matches with that blue piece. We can go ahead and put it up, and you can see it goes quite nicely. The next thing, the white green. Well, let's turn it. It's already it's underneath its position, but it's oriented the other way. So first thing again that I'm going to do is just go ahead and place it. This time, some alignment issues here. This time I'm going to be able to see as I turn it up whether it's right or not. You can see that that is not correct matching with that. So let's turn it off. Let's try another one. That looks good. The green's matched and the purple has matched there. So that is the correct orientation for that. And I know now that 3 of my faces are good. I've got my last one to do. So I'll find the other white piece, which is down here. I'll place it underneath, and again notice that it's not matching with that. So I've got to turn it around, I'll turn it off that face, turn the pink face until that can be matched nicely there. Then it's ready to turn up. And because the white face is already oriented correctly, that will match as well. So that's basically the white cross done. Would you believe it's taken that long? But it's because it's a super cube. I'm now going to turn it upside down and start placing these edges here. That one's already in, so I'm looking for 3 of these edges that are not yellow. So here's an example. Here's a green-red edge which needs to go in here. So I'm just going to put it down there with an edge piece series, which of course is just like a down, down, up, up. Here we go, that's in. Let's find another one. We've got a green pink here. So the green pink, if I push it down like that, will be misoriented. So I move its position up, turn it on to its position, and then put it down. And that's aligned. So I should now have 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 done. This is my 4th middle edge. I'm going to now, ordinarily I would think about which way do I get this, but remember I said we're not worrying about these yellow centers until the end. So what I'm trying to do now is place the remainder of the edges. I'm going to start with the yellow green and the yellow red. So what have I got? I've got a yellow red sitting here, so I can turn that, just turn it around like that. That's in position. Now I'd like to go and place this yellow light green, and that's sitting here and it needs to be flipped. So I'm just going to turn it around, use this 3rd piece to flip it, turn its position down, put it onto its position, undo those turns, and when I turn it back, that will also be in position. The yellow-red has stayed there. Now you'll notice, of course, that that's not matching up with these yellow centers, but that doesn't matter at the moment. Now there'll be 3 left, and we'll have a look and see what we've got. There's going to be a couple of options. At this one I've got that in position. I've actually got the blue-pink, which needs to go here, and the yellow-pink, which needs to go here. So these two need to swap. So I'll turn this face 1 turn, I'll attempt to turn this face 1 turn, and then go and resolve these 2 edges. So that one, the yellow-green, has to go back here, so I'll cycle those 3 pieces. Again, doing it much slower than I'd like, and then the yellow-red is down here, that's got to go here, so we'll turn that, put the yellow-red up, undo those turns. Okay, now you'll notice the centers have moved around. Again, don't care at the moment. I've got the yellow-red and the yellow-green back where they should be. Now what have I got? I've got now a 3 cycle. So I've got this yellow-blue needing to go here, the blue-pink down here, and the yellow-pink going up here. So what I'm going to do is look to see if they can be properly solved. So the yellow-blue is going to go correctly oriented, turning to there. The blue-pink will be incorrectly oriented if I turn it down. The yellow-pink will be correctly oriented. So that tells me that the one that's going to be incorrectly oriented is the last piece that I turn. So I turn this to go into that position, then I turn the blue-pink onto it and undo those moves, and what we'll see is that that has been placed, all of these have been placed correctly and they are oriented. Again, center's not caring about that at the moment. The one thing we do care about is that it is possible to end up with a last inverted edge. Could be anywhere, could be any one of these 3 if you're doing this method, and I want to show you how to deal with that now. Well, what I was talking about was this, where we've got all the edges placed. This is placed but inverted, and it could be this one or this one or this one, whatever. As long as you've got one inverted, that's the problem. No matter what you do, no matter how you 3 cycle it, you won't uninvert this without some sort of fix. So here's the fix for this one. What we want to do is get the bottom half of the cube and turn it 1 turn, just like that. That's actually fixed the problem. Now we need to go and replace our stuff, and the first thing we replace is the centers. That's the red center, so I'm going to push that out with this. To push it out, got to turn that face, push it out, turn the face back and return it. All 3 centers are redone like that. And I'll say all 3 centers because once you've done the 3rd, the 4th one's automatically back. Now you'll notice the centers have stayed with the diagonals correct. What you need to do then is look at 1, 2, 3. So 3 of these things will be broken apart. You then need to go and fix those up or re-reduce them. So I can see these 2 are going to go together. So let's put this one up here and use this one as our 3rd piece. Just went the long way there. And I'm just noting that when I turn this onto here, it's going to come back, and so I want the pink green to be on the top. So I'll look at this. There's the pink green. At the moment, if I replaced it by turning it down like that, the pink green would be on the bottom. No good. So to get it on the top, I want to turn its position up, turn it onto that position, and then replace it, and you'll notice now the pink green is on the top. So when I return the centers, that one's also done, that third one is done, and there's the one we're actually trying to make. So replace centers, re-reduce those last three edges, and then now resolve the edges or replace the edges, and we do that in exactly the same way. Because we've had to change the centers, we've had to break the centers then put them back in, you're going to find that this sort of thing is happening. The white is going to be a bit out, and so you just need to take your time and do it again as you would do it normally. And so I'll probably forward through this. And you'll get back to this situation where you've got those two at the back are done, and then a couple of possibilities for the last three. You can see that this one's in, this one is inverted in position, and this one is inverted. You'll remember that we started with just a single inverted edge. We've now got two, so that's no problem at all. To do that, we do an edge piece series to take them out of their positions, and then we do almost the opposite edge piece series to put them back in. And so we say this is going to come down correctly oriented, this is going to come up correctly oriented, this will be incorrect, and so this is the one that I turn last onto its position, which I turn down like that. Just doing an edge piece series, and you can see that all of those yellow ones are now correctly placed. The single inverted edge does not exist. All of the centers are correctly aligned except for this top center, which we're not worrying about at the moment. Okay, so the next phase to deal with is to place the corners. And as I said earlier, there are different types of corners. I like to try and get these ones done if I can. It's not sticking out so much. And this one is just directly above where it needs to go. I'm going to show you one technique for placing corners. I'm generally going to use the corner piece series, but you can use this if it's directly above and opposite. So in other words, that white needs to go down the bottom. These two will swap, and these two will swap. Now, because I don't really want necessarily that one coming out, although it really doesn't matter, does it? I'll just do that and show you these two swapping. So you just do 3 of these edge piece series, or down, down, up, up, if it's possible. That is one of them. There's the second. And there's the third, and you can see that has placed perfectly into that position. So the other one already happened to be in there, so what I'm going to do now is start looking to place these things, and you'll notice that if that one, if it turns onto there, it's going to be correctly oriented. So that's what I'm going to aim for. I can use the corner piece series, and I'm looking for one of these pieces to roll either down a side or across the back, whatever suits. This one I'll roll down the side into that position, and I've got this one here as well, so I might take that out so I can put it back in later and just get this purple one done. So ordinary anti-clockwise corner piece series. Made a little longer by the not so great turning of this puzzle. That purple corner is in. What else have we got? We've got the grey one, which, let's have a look. If we turn it like that, you can see it's not going to be oriented correctly. But if I hold it like this and turn it down to there, it will. So that's the direction I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it down to there and then use that as my third corner, this time a clockwise corner piece series. Wow, that was relatively pain-free. Awesome. Now, around about this time, I'm going to start thinking about the possibility of 2 corners needing to be swapped. And let me just see if I can green going to there, going to there. Okay, I think I'm going to have 2 corners needing to be swapped, which is good because I wanted that to show you what to do. Let's go ahead and just pretend that I couldn't work that out, and we'll try and place at least another one. What have we got here? This blue one. Yep, we can roll that down into that position, and so we'll make these ones go to there. Alrighty, that's done. What do we got now? That orange one actually went into position as well, which is great. Now, you'll notice here, do not get bamboozled by these center pieces. These are not corners, and we've got to ignore them. The green corner and the maroon corner need to swap, and everything else on this puzzle, apart from the centers, is done. And that means that we've got the need to swap those 2 corners. No amount of 3 cycling will get that done, so I'm going to use the same fix that I would use for doing this on a 4x4. And you can see again, this is potentially going to mess up these centers or move them around, which is why I don't bother doing them till the end. So the fix for that, as far as I do it, is to any old axis, doesn't matter where, turn half the puzzle 2 turns or 180 degrees, and then grab an edge pair, like a broken edge pair, take them out onto an upper face and then bring them back reversed. So to take them out, we move them up like that, and to bring them back reversed, we move their position up and put it onto the position and then put them down. Then I'm going to turn around to here, and I'm going to do the same thing with the corresponding pair. You'll notice this was green, pink and red, blue. Over here, green, pink, or pink, green, red, blue. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to attempt exactly the same thing. Okay, I'm going to find, it doesn't look badly aligned, but there we go. Bring it out with an edge piece series, and then move its position up, put it on its position, and drop it down. Now, having done that to both of them, I then return the halves of the cubes, and what you'll notice is that that and that are right back where they started. The green pink and the blue red have actually swapped positions. So I've created a swap of corners to go, a swap of edges to go with my swap of corners. That's the key thing. Up the top, I don't actually have any swaps. I might have some that are flipped in position but no swaps. So because I've now got one of each, a swap of corners and a swap of edges, I will now be able to go ahead and solve it. And so from here, I continue to do that. I'll go and replace some of these edges, so I might just turn that green pink up there and go ahead and put it into its position. Like that. What have we got here? I better turn that one back down. Now I'm back to these edges, so again I'd go and look to place the yellow green or the yellow pink on the back. What have we got? The yellow pink here, so I can put that one first. That one's in. I want the yellow green now, so it's over here and it needs to be flipped, so I'm going to put it down into that 3rd position. There we go. Now I can turn that on, move it up to its position, turn it back and put down the whites. Those 2, if this is my 4th middle, those 2 at the back are done. And what have we got? 3 left. So the blue red's got to go here, the yellow red's got to go here. That's in position, so that would then tell me that I've got 1 turn of the upper face. Replace these things. So this is all just the same as the normal placement of these edges, I guess you'd call it. We're just having to do it again after our fix for the swapped corners. The green's done, the pink's done. What do we got now? Yellow, blue, yellow, red, blue, red. All 3 of these need to, if they go into their positions, they're going to need to flip. So this is another interesting last 3 cycle. The yellow, red, if it goes up there, the yellow's going to be wrong. Yellow, blue, if it goes to there, yellow's going to be wrong. Blue, red goes to here, blue's going to be wrong. So if you have this, what you need to do is move them to the wrong position. So instead of the yellow, red going here, we want to move the yellow, red up to this position. And what you'll find once you've done that is that you have a nice 3-cycle to finish where one of the pieces will be misoriented. And now you can see yellow, red to here, that's going to be right. Blue, red, that'll be right. Blue, yellow will come up to here, that will be misoriented. So that's the one that I turn last. In my 3-cycle, carry that out, finish the edges, go ahead and resolve the corners. I'll fly through that. Now you'll remember that we started this with 2 corners needing to be swapped. If we have a look at what's going on now, we've got the orange that needs to go there, the purple that needs to go here, and this maroon that needs to come over here. So we have successfully created ourselves a 3-cycle so that we can indeed finish this off. Now, this doesn't look like a super easy thing to deal with, so I'm going to have a look and see what can be done. Just looking for a setup here. I can see that now I could turn that maroon, will turn onto there. I've also got to think about whether that, now that if it rolls on is not going to be right. So what I'm going to do in this case is just actually place one of them and then twist the last 2. So I'm going to place the maroon one here using a corner piece series. Okay, so that maroon one is placed. You'll notice, I'll just undo the setups, and you'll notice that one is in position but twisted, so is that one. So if you want to twist a couple of corners, you find one that's got to go anti-clockwise. This one has got to go anti-clockwise. You grab the other one and put it at the back left. So this one is at the up front left, this one is at the up back left, and then we're going to carry out 2 edge piece series. Here's one of them. There's the second, and you might notice that purple corner has now successfully gone correct. So I grab the other one and I move it down into its position there, and I undo those 2 edge piece series. So instead of turning this face first, I'm now going to turn this face first. Having done that, I'll return the orange and blue and undo my little setup there, and you can see that all of the corners are now placed. And the only thing left to do is deal with any of these centers. Now you could have both of these ones out. It happens that we've got that one correct, so we only need to carry out 1 corner piece series here, and that is exactly what we're going to use, the corner piece series. So I'm going to be thinking about, okay, the big thing is I want to involve not that one, I want to involve that piece and those 2, because these 2 can sort of swap and it won't matter. This one I want to rotate to there, I want to move to there. So I'm going to be doing a corner piece series which moves these 3 pieces, and it's exactly the same moves, it's just done on slices. So if I want to move that to there, I need to have that there. This is going to be my 3rd yellow piece. I'm going to have that up in that position. So I need some setups. So I'll turn my front face, my left face, my front face back, and then this needs to be turned up into that position with an upturn. So I've just got to remember that upturn at the end. Now I've got these 3 pieces ready to cycle. An anti-clockwise corner piece series, so I turn the upper face, and then I just turn this inner slice. That way nothing else will be damaged, it'll only be these corners that get moved around. Sorry, the centers that get moved around. The upturn and then the right slice away. Looks a mess, but have faith. Up prime, left slice back, up, right slice back. Okay, you can see it all coming back together. Now you just need to remember your setups, write them down if you can't remember them. So I had to turn that. Then I needed to turn my front, my left came back, and my front prime. And you can see that those are now correct. That one wasn't touched, we cycled those three around. They are now correct, and everything else is still correct, and that is how I solve the super DiPyramid. I hope that makes sense. I hope it wasn't too long. It was clear enough. It is a worthy puzzle to have. If you figure out a way to get it turning better, by all means let me know. I think it's a great puzzle in terms of its challenge, and for that reason I do recommend it. In any event, that's the super DiPyramid solved.